Welcome to another episode. Now, this is a bit unusual because normally I have a guest with me, but now it's just me. And I want to talk to you about changing your life, right? I want to talk about my experiences with that and how that relates to you as well. So hopefully you're going to get a lot of value out of this one. Changing your life is one of those things that scares us a lot. Like I remember when I was changing my life. So my story, so go back to, I'm 32 at the time of recording this. So let's go back 12 years and I was in England. Right, I went to this event in London and I met my first mentor, my first in-person mentor at this event. And I remember at the end of the event, he said to someone that he's looking for someone to work with him in Thailand. And I was like, well, I can do that because, I don't have kids, I don't have a wife, and I don't have a mortgage. One of the guys at the event who was running the event actually got the opportunity first. He asked me, do I want to do it because I don't have any commitments? So I said yes. And then I spoke to the guy, my mentor. We had a 30-minute Skype conversation. And then he wired me some money to buy a laptop, buy my plane ticket, and buy him an iPhone and some whiskey. And then all of a sudden, I'm on the plane going to Singapore. And then I went to Thailand, like a connecting flight through Singapore. And ended up in Thailand. I think I was 20 years old, I think. I think I was 20 years old. So I'm in Thailand for the first time in my life. Never even knew where this place was on the map. But backtrack a little bit. I remember I had one friend at the time. I was in England. And I told her that, hey, I got this opportunity to work with this guy I just met. I'm going to go to Thailand for 6 months. She's like, what? I was like, yeah, I just met the guy, but, opportunity. And then she was like, nah, it doesn't sound like a good idea. And you know what? Fast forward 12 years, I'm sitting here right now. I'm looking out. There's a swimming pool there. I've got nice plants in my garden, and I've got rice fields. I'm literally right next to the rice fields in Bali. If I had listened to her advice, my close friend at the time, if I had listened to her and stayed in London, who the hell knows where I would have been right now, right? So this is the importance of the message I'm sharing today, is to take a leap of faith, right? I didn't know what was in Thailand. I just knew that this is an opportunity. This is in line with what I want. I was working towards making money on the internet. And here's a guy who's making millions of dollars, and he's invited me to go and live with him in Thailand and work with him. I'm going to take the opportunity, right? So I did. And this is what I want to talk about today, is the fear of the unknown. So there was a massive fear of the unknown, but the pain of my current situation was way greater than the pain of change. So that's what they say, right? Like when the pain is too great, when the pain of staying the same is bigger than the pain of change, that's when you change, right? Because most people don't change because the pain of changing is too great. It's comfortable to stay home and watch Netflix. It's uncomfortable to get on a flight and go to Thailand, for example, right? That's an extreme example, but you know what I mean. Like, it's uncomfortable to do the things that we know are potentially, we might get rejected. There might be some risk there. We might fail. It's easier to just accept where we are right now because there's no risk of failing. Like watching Netflix, how can you fail? Like it's just comfort, right? It's security. It's comfort zone, but nothing grows there. For me, I was young. I was like, fuck it, let's take a risk. Like what have I got to lose? I don't have anything right now, so why not just do it? That attitude, I've kind of lost that over the years, which is kind of why I'm making this video. Because it's not just for you, it's for me also, right? Like I need to voice this stuff so I can start reclaiming the person that I once was, that hungry kid who wanted to make something of himself, right? And not saying that I wasn't enough, but I just wanted to prove to myself that this potential that I see in my mind, I can actually bring it to fruition in the real world, right? Because what's imagined can become real. That's how it happens. Everything we see in this world is created twice, once in our mind and once in the real world, right? So that's a phrase from Steve Jobs. He said, everything around you that you call life was made up by people that are no smarter than you. And once you realize that, you can change it and you can imprint your own blueprint on things and create your own things. And once you realize that, your life will never be the same. That's almost to the quote of his video because I've watched it that many times. I just feel that like everything that we call life was created by people that are no smarter than us. Like there's things that I think in my mind and then I see someone speak it on camera like this, for example, and then I see the reaction it gets. I'm like, I think that all the time. He's just fucking saying it and everyone thinks he's really smart. And I'm just like, so this actually gives me confidence, more confidence, not confidence, that's the wrong word, just belief in what I already know to be true, right? Because when I see other people saying what I already believe to be true, that gives me more belief and trust in myself. Changing your life, like as it relates to, for example, I used to do health coaching. All these people would pay me thousands of dollars for, a short while, a few months coaching. They would get results, but the key thing I want to raise here is that before they actually enrolled and joined, there was a bit of, I don't know, there's a bit of fear there. And that's normal, because before you're about to change your life and make a big leap, there's always going to be fear. Doesn't matter who you are, like how much money you make, it doesn't matter, right? Because I had clients who make 8 figures a year, like 10 million or more a year, right? And even before they joined, they were still fearful, because it's something, right? You got to think about this. This is something that up until now, they haven't figured out. Like they haven't figured out how to get in the best shape of their life, how to not worry about their growing belly every year, and how to actually lose the weight, build muscle, and have all day energy, and, just have more sex drive and just feel happier in their own body, right? And experience life in a greater way because of that. Like not have to, for example, I spoke to one guy and he said to me, he was so fat that when he went to the theme park with his daughter, they stopped him from getting on the ride because he was too fat, right? Because the bar wouldn't actually go down because his belly was too big. It was getting in the way, so they couldn't lock it. So for health and safety reasons, he couldn't get on the ride with his daughter. So can you imagine that loss of connection in that experience with his daughter, all because he's overweight, right? So it doesn't matter how much money he makes. He could be a billionaire for all I care. But when it comes to putting down $5,000, like he's going to be like, I don't know about this. And that's normal. That's what I'm trying to say. Like this feeling of, I don't know. That's a normal feeling, because as humans, we like the path of least resistance. We like to do things that are comfortable. Taking a risk and actually trying to change your life and investing in that, that's scary, because that's the unknown. And as humans, we're scared of the unknown. We would rather, it's funny it's actually not funny, but it's interesting. People would rather, and I've been there before, so don't worry about it. People would rather stay in toxic relationships than leave that toxic relationship with the hopes of finding a better relationship. And I always wondered why that is. Like I've done this myself. Like you break up with someone, like I broke up with girlfriends, and then I just keep having sex with them, right? And it's like, why am I continuing? It's not like some of them are toxic relationships, some of them weren't, but it's like, why am I continuing to do that? Well, it's because it's familiar, right? And familiarity breeds contempt. So it's easier to stay in that situation because it's familiar and it's secure, rather than going to the unfamiliar, because you don't know what's going to happen. And that's scarier. That's scarier than actually being in a toxic relationship. It's crazy, but that's why people stay in abusive relationships, toxic relationships, because even though they don't like it and they complain, it's just what they know. It's familiar. They know that they're going to get that, right? They don't know what they're going to get over here. It could be amazing, but who cares? Because they don't know about it, so they're scared of it, so they're not going to go there. And that's what keeps people in toxic relationships. Just an example, just digressing there. That's what I'm talking about. It's like taking that leap of faith is always going to be scary, but we have to do it, right? It doesn't matter who you are, how successful you are. If you want to get to the next level, there are things that you don't know which are preventing you from getting to that next level. That's why you pay people like myself to get to that next level, right? As it relates to health coaching and now communication and stuff like that. That's why I'm very passionate about this topic. And, I always think about my motives for doing something, my intention. Like, what's my intention here? Why the hell am I sitting here on a Saturday? It's a Saturday, it's bloody sunny outside, and I'm sitting here making content. Like, that is not normal, right? Like, why am I not enjoying my life? But the funny thing is about that is this is enjoying my life. I've been doing a lot of deep diving recently into why I do what I do. And, I've been going deeper within myself. I've actually stopped a lot of the work that I'm doing right now just to be like, hey, I want to just go deeper in myself and remember who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? Just assessing myself and my life right now. One of the things I realized is that I'm just born to make content. I love sharing. That's what I love. It's one of my gifts. I just love to share, right? And one of the things I've noticed about myself recently is that I've been withholding a lot of value. And I'm like, why am I doing that? Why? And I think about this too. So I think if I was dying, let's say I'm going to die next week, right? Would I still be behaving like this? Would I still be withholding information that I know that can help people or would I just give everything away? And so I realized that's what's going to help me change my life, is to give everything away that I know. And so that's what I'm doing on the podcast with these guests. I'm getting them on and I'm just quizzing them on stuff that I want to know about, that I know that you want to know about, because if I want to know about it and I'm just an average guy, right? Like, you want to know about it. So it's like, that's how I filter the guests that come on the show. I'm like, this person knows about this, I'm sure everyone else want to know about it because I want to know about it. And that's the kind of litmus test. It's like, if it interests me, it's going to interest everyone else. And so that's just how I think about it, because ultimately it's about enjoying life, right? Life is about enjoying and doing what you want to do. So I'm not wasting time making this video. I don't know how many people are going to watch this video, right? And I don't care. Like, I do care. That's a lie. I mean, I do care, of course, but that's not why I'm doing it. That's the thing. Before, I would do YouTube video. I've been on YouTube for years, but I don't have many subscribers at the moment. And it's because I was always attaching myself to the number of viewers. I was like, fuck this, man. There's no point making this video. There's only 30 people watched it. And that was my mindset for years, which is why the results haven't come, because that was my mindset, right? I had that belief that, why am I making YouTube videos if no one's gonna watch them, right? That was my belief. And that was only because I attached myself to the outcome. It's like, I'm only gonna make this video if loads of people watch it. And that is the wrong motivation for me making videos, because that's not me understanding why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's what I'm saying to you is, recently I've been going deeper into understanding why am I doing what I'm doing. So then I can realize that, oh, actually, the deeper reason is that I just feel like I need to share what I know. From that reason, there's no attachment to the views, because I'm doing what I want to do. Like, I'm sharing what I know. And if that helps you, then that's great, okay? And so that's my personal motivation. And every day I'm working on myself so I can become better at sharing what's in my brain. Freedom is full self-expression, right? I used to think freedom was just money. And yes, that's a massive part of freedom, is having the money to do whatever you want, whenever you want, like the FU money. So whenever someone tries to tell you something, you're like, fuck you, I'm not gonna do that. Like, for example, when I was growing up, I'll get back to the self-expression bit in a second. When I was growing up, right, every week I was told to hoover my house, hoover the whole house. We had 3 floors and I was told to hoover the whole house, right? Like vacuum the whole house. And I remember telling my mum, I was like, I hate fucking doing this shit. She's like, well, when you get older, you better get rich so you can hire a cleaner. I was like, yeah, I will, because I fucking hate this bullshit. And now I'm in Bali and I have a cleaner. I don't do any cleaning. I don't wash my dishes. I don't do my laundry. I don't mop. I don't broom, like nothing. I don't make my bed. Well, I make my bed, but the cleaner makes my bed every day. So like, this is what I wanted. You know, from when I was a kid, I knew that this is some bullshit. I ain't gonna do no cleaning my house. Like, why are you washing your car? Like, I looked at my dad and he was washing his car. I was like, why are you washing your car? Why don't you just pay someone to do it for you? And that's how I thought as a kid. Like, I'm very logical. I've been logical since I was a young boy. And I just look at things and be like, that's fucking stupid. That's stupid. Like the COVID stuff, like wearing a mask, that's fucking stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't do anything. Well, the worst thing is like wearing a mask when you're driving your car. That's like wearing a condom when you're not having sex. That was one of my jokes at the stand-up comedy set. And it's like, this just doesn't make no sense. Freedom is full self-expression. I used to think it was just money. But if you can't speak up when you should speak up, when you feel bothered, if someone does something and it bothers you and you don't speak up, that's something that is going to affect the level of freedom you have, because you are not free. Like, you can't fully express how you feel. So what is that really freedom? And this is something that I'm actually working on right now in my life, is expressing myself when people piss me off. If they overstep my boundary, first of all, I have to have boundaries, so I'm working on that. But if they overstep my boundary, then I got to speak up. Like, for example, here in Bali, right? So when you walk into a room, typically you take your shoes off. So if I tell someone, hey, when you walk into my room, take your shoes off, and they walk into my room and they don't take their shoes off, they just overstep my boundary, and that bothers me. But if I don't say something, that will just fester in my body, and I'll just have resentment for them, and I'll treat them in a different way because I resent them for overstepping my boundary. I'll make up a story. Oh, they disrespected me. They don't care about how my rules, you know, it's one rule for them, one rule for me. Like, they don't care, all this stuff, right? I can make up stories and I can resent them, and then we'll just grow further apart. And then the resentment manifests itself as physical pain in the body, right? So the emotions are stored, like the emotions you don't release are stored in your body, and then you get physical pain. And that's been happening to me. And I've realized of late that it's because I didn't have these boundaries, and also I didn't express when people would do stuff that bothers me. Then I learned that actually people don't want to bother you. Like, so if they do something that bothers you, they want to be told that, hey, that bothers me, right? Because they don't want to do stuff that pisses you off, right? But if you don't speak up, then they won't know, and they will keep doing it. And then you just build up more resentment. And so that's freedom, is self-expression, right? Like fully self-expressed. Being yourself all the time, everywhere, with everyone. And of course, there's different levels to that. Of course, you can't tell your deepest, darkest secrets to someone you just met. But just expressing yourself honestly and openly, and embracing all your emotions. So positive emotions and negative emotions, and knowing how to express those in a healthy way. So that's something that I'm working through now for myself. And this video is about changing your life. My friend Emil, this is the book that he's got on his desk, Atomic Habits. And this book is probably in my top 3 books of all time, because that's how you get successful, is habits. Like, that's literally it. It's change something you do daily. That's it. Like, for example, let's say I want to become one of the best piano players in the world. How do I do that? If that's my goal, right? Well, I need to play piano every week, multiple times. I need to get a coach. I need to play piano multiple times a week. And I also need to have a piano. That's it. That's the system that creates the results. How do you get a 6-pack? Well, you need to work out multiple times a week, strength training, stop doing the cardio, strength train 3 times a week, at least. 3 times a week is enough. And then you need to, what I teach is intermittent fasting. And then you need to eat nutrient-dense food. And then you need to find a sweet spot with that, where you're eating in 8-hour windows every day. Eating a little bit more on the days you work out. Maybe have some carbs on the days you work out as well. And do that for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and you have your dream body. And you need a coach. You need someone who knows what they're doing. Someone who knows how to program your workouts, who knows how to examine your nutrition, optimize your sleep. And also the mental health side is make sure that you're de-stressed. You're not super stressed in your life, because that's going to affect your rate at which you burn the fat and build the muscle, right? So these are all the factors that go into it. And that's the system that you build, which you carry out every single week. And then over the course of a year, you'll get remarkable results. So tiny changes create remarkable results. That's what's on the cover of the book. And it's so true. So whatever goal you have, you can break it down into bite-sized chunks. And usually I haven't met anyone who's successful who's never had a mentor of some kind. It might be in person, it might be a book, but everyone who's achieved anything has had a mentor, right? So if you perceive a value in someone and you want to get help from that person, you should hit them up and ask them how they can help you achieve what you want to achieve, whatever it is, okay? Because life is short to learn everything yourself. You get to an age where you're just like, I'm just going to pay for the best result, for the best person to help me get the result, who I believe can help me, who's already experiencing and living the result. So like, if you want a 6-pack, you got to hire someone like, for example, myself, who has a 6-pack, right? Like, that's just common sense. And I've been like this for the last 6 years since I started training. And I've only started training when I was 26, 27, right? So only 6 years. So again, if you want the results, you need to seek out those with the results. It's very simple, right? But it's something that a lot of people, myself included, can forget. Like, you start listening to people that don't have the results you want, and you're like, I've done that. I spent 6 months. The truth is the truth, but ultimately you have to listen to people that have the results you want, because that's the fastest track, because then you're going to believe it wholeheartedly. Because if you listen to someone that doesn't have the results, but they're telling you the truth, it's kind of hard to internalize that, even though you know it's true what they're saying, but they don't have the results. And you're just like, some part of you doesn't believe it. But when you have someone who's embodying the message that they're preaching, like they're living this life that they're selling you, for whatever it is, could be money, could be health, relationships, like they have a great relationship and they're teaching you how to get a great one, like whatever it is, but they have to be living it. And that's a prerequisite for me. Like, they have to be living it for me to learn from this person. And so think about these things as you go about your day today. You know, I just wanted to share some of the things that were on my mind, and this is also helping me too. It's nice. I'd extend this to you too. Like, you know, get out your phone and just start talking and start journaling about your life. It's very therapeutic. It's one of the ways that I manage my thoughts, because sometimes I just overthink shit and I have to just get out my phone and press voice record and just start talking, or I start journaling, right? So or writing, like it's either one of those modalities. That's what I like to do. My human design is a manifesting generator, if any of you are familiar with human design. So that's part of the reason why I love presenting, because I'm just so comfortable being behind the camera, in front of the microphone. I feel energized. I feel like this is where I'm meant to be in my life. Yeah, more of this. And if you like this style of podcast, let me know, and I'll keep doing some solo episodes and in between the guests, or we could just keep it 100% guests. Let me know, give me some feedback on that, and hope you enjoyed. Hope you got some value out of this. Talk to you in the next one. All right, all the links in the description. And yeah, go to aarondarko.com for all the good stuff. All right, see you. Bye-bye.